everything.
Alright guys, we are back in Beta.Hacksaw.Academy. We're going to be doing the Working with an API project. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video, by the way. I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow, and it's a lot of good things going on. Lots of different projects here. The reason I'm choosing to do the API one is I feel like this is something that a lot of people have trouble understanding, and I'm hoping that they do a pretty good job doing that. So far, the ones I've done have been pretty straightforward. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Sprint 1, an introduction to APIs. There's 5 sprints, and we're going to, if you're not familiar with what an API is, a REST API basically is a way of getting data, and either usually for most of our purposes we'll be getting the data and then doing something with it to make our web page dynamic. For instance, on my website, we'll go ahead and check it out real quick, codingtutorials360.com. I'm using the YouTube API to be able to get my most recent video and display it here. And then down here I also have these numbers. These aren't hard-coded. These go through the API and it'll show my subscribers, my lifetime views, and the total public videos I have. This is all information from the YouTube API. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So again, if you're new to Hacksaw, Beta.Hacksaw.Academy, you have your HTML, CSS, JSS. You can kind of reposition everything as needed. Alright, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. We're going to get started. What is an API? An API stands for Application Programming Interface. Basically a way of interacting with other applications and getting data from those other applications. So you can send a request. You send a request and then you get a response back in data, typically. So when you get a response back, that's called a GET request, as you'll see here. You also, this will be an example of a response where you'll have the meta object with a bunch of key value pairs. Same thing with the objects array. This is pretty common, you'll see. This is considered JSON format. So if you've seen JSON before, what that basically means is JavaScript object notation. It's probably the most popular REST API, and that in terms of formatting. Now, what do I mean by REST? REST is, there are multiple APIs, but REST really stands for, that it has basically 4 things in common. It has a GET, which you get the data. It has a PUT, where it changes the data. It has a POST, where it creates new data to add. And then it has a delete, where it removes data. And those four aspects are what make a RESTful API. Fetching data. So let's go ahead and jump right into here. So you see they have a little bit of code already typed up for us. Let's temporarily add a div anywhere in our HTML. So let's go ahead and add it in between. We're gonna give it a div. Remember, a div is nothing more than a container. And we're gonna give it the ID of temporary. And now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and jump into. Alright, it looks like we're going to be doing this API call in jQuery, which is pretty common. Doing it in like vanilla JavaScript is kind of a pain in the butt. So don't be intimidated by that if you're not too familiar with jQuery. Now we need to add functions to the API object for getting and then rendering the data to your preview. So it looks like they want us to add these functions, and you see the .get. What's basically happening here, let's go ahead and add this to our API. What this .get is you pass in a URL, that's the location of the data. In this case, it's somewhat relative. And then the function that does something with it. And then this data.callback is something else, and we're gonna go ahead and work with this. Now document.ready, if you're not too familiar with jQuery, don't sweat it. All this basically means here is run on page load our jQuery. That's what's going on here. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go API.getData. Let's go ahead and rerun, and you'll see right here we now have all our API data. Typically, you'd probably do this in a JavaScript object, but you see we have a bunch of data here. This is a quick way on how we can get our API data. So it looks like this is the end of the lesson. What you need to understand from this, you really need to understand what a RESTful API is. It's a way of getting data, sending data, deleting data, and updating data that is interactive with other applications. So that, like in my example, you were able to get the YouTube API. And then the jQuery, if you're not too familiar with jQuery, it's definitely going to help you to brush up moving forward on that. But as you can see, we've passed in some objects here, like so. We have our metadata, limit. This is all just data that we're getting back, and then we're going to do something with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Moving forward, I'm pretty excited about APIs. I really think it's something that really makes your websites and web applications look great, and they're a huge part of web development, so you need to get comfortable with it. But again, thank you to Beta.Hacksaw.Academy. If you want to go check them out, go to Beta.Hacksaw.Academy. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our sponsor, Hacksaw Academy. Go ahead and give them a shot. Try them out for 14 days free, or you can get project-based tutorials. As always, guys, don't forget to like and share, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.